drivers of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge bring their Porsches to Brazelton, Georgia for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2020 season. The drivers' talents will be tested on one of the fastest and toughest tracks on this year's calendar, and you can expect the action to be intense for sure. And it's next on NBCSN. It's the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA presented by Yokohama, round 6 from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. I'm Brian Till. John Hindog, Jeremy Shaw will call all the action for you today. In the Platinum class for the 991 Gen 2 chassis, the 53 of Riley Dickinson will start round 6 from the pole, and he hopes to chip away at the points lead that Jeff Kingsley in the number 16 has built in the opening rounds. Sean McAllister in his number 11 JDX Racing Porsche 991 starts second, while the 99 of Alan Metney will roll off from the 4th spot. In the gold class, Kurt Swearingen has a grip on a 9-point lead in his number 17 over Efren Castro in the 65. Both championships are still very much up for grabs. Now let's join John Hindop and Jeremy Shaw for the call.
Ready to get things underway for the second event here at this fabulous circuit just outside of Brazelton. What about an hour and 20 minutes up the road from Atlanta itself. A dozen corners, 2.5 miles around, action areas at turn 1, possibilities for overtaking at turn 6 and turn 7, but you've got to be brave there down the hill into the turn 10 A and B complex. That's a smashing spot if you get a good run down that long, oddly curving back straight, if you see what I mean. All good stuff then, and the weather has been playing its part this weekend. We've already had a brilliant opener to the weekend in the first race here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Riley Dickinson was on pole position in the number 53 car to driver's right coming to the green flag and got a super jump away. Jeff Kingsley in the green and white Porsche caught napping a little bit, and the white, red and gold number 11 of Sean McAllister took advantage of that, and going down into turn 1 managed to get the inside line and take second place from Kingsley. Let's jump forward to lap number 4, and Kingsley decides to go back into second place. Down the hill to turn 10, there's that overtaking manoeuvre I was talking about, and Kingsley goes back into second position. Now we'll run forward with just a quarter of an hour to go, 14 minutes left on the clock, and Michael Manella gives a little tap to Joseph Lombardo at turn 7. Lombardo ends up facing the wrong direction. Into the closing stages of the race, Jeff Kingsley does the outside manoeuvre into 10A. Riley Dickinson can't fight back, and the lead swaps. Meantime, Sebastian Carrazzo, same spot on the track, down the inside, doesn't quite get it done, avoids the white iFly car, the 99 of Alan Metney. He lives to fight another day. Unfortunately, Charlie Luck didn't towards the end of the race, caught the curb coming out of turn 5, heavy impact with the wall, and that brought out the full course yellow, and that meant that we finished under yellow flag conditions. Jeff Kingsley taking the victory, and in the Gold Cup category, the gold and silver car of Efren Castro held off the number 17 of Kurt Swearingen. That was yesterday. Today, very much another day, and Jeremy Shaw will take us through the grid for the second race of the weekend at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, John. And we've got for this 6th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, 16 cars, 12 platinum cars, 4 gold cars. Starting at the back of the field is car number 18, that's Richard Edge. Row 6 is Kurt Swearingen in car number 17 and Efren Castro in car number 65. Two contenders who battled out that tremendous race yesterday in the Gold Cup class. Yesterday's Masters winner, in fact the Masters winner in every race this season, Alan Metney in car number 99 will start 4th, alongside yesterday's winner, Jeff Kingsley. On the front row of the grid, Sean McAllister, a career best 3rd place finish yesterday, starts 2nd today in the number 11 for JDX Racing. And on the pole position for the 2nd day running, for the More Speed team in car number 53 is the 18-year-old Riley Dickinson.
Another great formation start, and once again the front row very close together, Dickinson and McAllister. Now McAllister was on the inside on the Saturday race, and he is going to get done over in exactly the way he did with Jeff Kingsley, but it's Kingsley down the inside this time, and the inside of row 2 manages to get to second position. That's exactly what happened with those two drivers yesterday, but it was the opposite way around in terms of where they were on the grid. Little bit of early morning fog here, bit of temperature inversion. Been lovely weather here at Road Atlanta this weekend on the big endurance events for IMSA, with a 6-hour race for WeatherTech and the Pilot Challenge with a 4-hour race. So these drivers racing in front of all the big teams and kicking off a race day Sunday with the sound of the Porsche Flat 6. Great start again, Jeremy Shaw, from Riley Dickinson, and Jeff Kingsley does to Sean McAllister what was done to him yesterday. Do as you would be done by, I think.
Absolutely right, and once again Riley Dickinson made a great jump from that pole position, took the guy alongside and really caught him napping at the start. Really nothing that Sean McAllister could do about it, but he had a great run yesterday, a career best third place finish, so looking to build upon that here today in the Gold Cup category. It's Efri Castro who leads from Kurt Swearingen, but there is another car in between them on this opening lap.
Yes, there is, and that is the TPC number 69. That's Dave Hardy, who's behind the wheel of that car, and he is not a Gold Cup runner. Danny Hardy, the TPC racing driver. Two different types of Porsches here. They look very similar. Both 911 Cup cars, GT3 Cup cars, as the nomenclature from Porsche has it. The latest cars in the Platinum class with the black wing end plates and the black door mirrors. That's what's called Generation or Gen 2. Little bit of optimization electronically on the engine, so they produce a wee bit more power, slightly different aerodynamically, and there's a few detailed changes inside with the dashboard, the seating position, and also borrowing from the Porsche GT race cars all the way up to Le Mans. They also have an access hatch above the driver as well, just to help if anything goes horribly wrong. The Gen 1 cars go back as far as 2014, and we have got a couple of 2014 cars. Kurt Swearingen for ACI Motorsports in that bright green number 17 is driving one, as is Richard Edge for ACI Motorsports in the 18 car. So slightly different, not quite as quick, but in the right hands still a very, very capable machine. That's the Gold Cup cars. They have the yellow, the bright yellow wing end plates, and indeed the door mirrors, and it's even easier for us because the leader is driving a gold car. 65 is Efren Castro, and he is making his escape at the moment from Kurt Swearingen over the top of the hill at turn 2, takes the curb. Across the line, and that's a great lap from Riley Dickinson.
Yeah, he's on the case right away this morning. His best lap, 1 minute 23.59. That's already faster than his best lap yesterday. He was driving a brilliant race yesterday. All of a sudden, halfway through the race, he lost pace and he couldn't quite figure out what was going wrong with that car. He kind of adjusted his lines and his sort of driving style, but he just wasn't able to keep Riley Dickinson behind him. It was only actually when they got to post-race technical inspection, they figured out what the problem was. It was a broken shock absorber on the left rear corner of that number 53 Porsche. I think it just shows how good a job Riley did yesterday to, even though he wasn't able to run anything like the same sort of pace as Jeff Kingsley in the closing stages, he was able to bring that car home in second place. Well, now with the car back to perfect form, the 18-year-old is out in front in this race and looking to make up for that really disappointing, heartbreaking loss yesterday when he seemed to be in control of the race.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that's the case, Jeremy, he did very, very well to keep the pace up that he did with a mechanical issue. Very unusual that these cars are very robust. They're meant to do full seasons, and quite a few people use them in more endurance-based series as well. So that was very bad luck indeed for Riley Dickinson. But those, I'm afraid, are the breaks when it comes to motor racing. He's trying to make up for it today, with Kingsley now taking the Yokohama fastest lap in the Platinum class, now down to a 1:23.5 in early running cars. Still relatively heavy, remember, they're fueled for the full 45, almost 50 minutes by the time you've done the warm-up laps and the slowed down laps. That's a full tank of racing fuel, and that's putting a lot of energy into the Yokohama tyres. By the way, Efren Castro has got the Yokohama fast lap in the gold category, a 1:26.649. I suspect that both of those times, Jeremy, will be bettered as the fuel burns off, because these Yokohama tyres are very durable indeed, and you get good performance all the way through the 45-minute race.
Yeah, indeed so. And in the platinum category, the lap record was set at this corresponding race last year by Riley Dickinson at a 1:23.0. We might get close to that towards the end of this race.
Yes.
We shall see. In the Gold Cup category, the lap record was set also last year by Sebastian Carrazzo, who's now, of course, moved up to the platinum category, running in the 5th position right now, at 1:24.7. Efren Castro not close to that yet. He's down in the 26s, but it has just set the fastest lap of the race in the Gold Cup category.
So both the Gold Cup drivers have now got past Danny Hardy in that TPC racing car, and he's just been warned, Hardy that is, in that TPC car, for interfering with the gold battle. Racing outside his class is what race control have told the team. He has let those two guys go through, hasn't got the pace of them. Danny not quite the experience of the two guys who've just gone by him. So now we have unfettered access to the back of the Gold Cup leader for that bright Kermit green car in second place. Through turn 5, over the top of the brow, Castro now with David Brill Senior in the Kelly Moss Road and Race number 48, the white and purple car, going up to turn number 6. Now again, that's a platinum car. The problem for Castro here is that car, he'll be a little bit quicker down the straight, but if he can get right underneath that rear wing, he might just, Jeremy Shaw, be able to get a little bit of slipstream, a bit of draft in the hole in the air that Dave Brill Senior is making for him, but he's been closed down by Kurt Swearingen in that number 17.
Indeed he is. We've got a real battle on here now for the Gold Cup category, and in actual fact the Yokohama fastest lap of the racing Gold Cup has just been set by Bart Collins, who's back in the 4th position in caliber 22 for MCR Racing, not too far behind this little group. So David Brill Senior, who's had a really, really good season, he's had a string of top 10 finishes, but he's been struggling again this weekend just a little bit. He particularly qualifying, he started at the back of the field yesterday, worked his way up the order into the top 10, but now again he's not quite on his usual pace and under intense pressure here from Efren Castro.
It's a very nuanced circuit this, as the Gold Cup category goes side by side at the top of the hill and through into the lead, using the slight bit of confusion and loss of momentum from Castro up behind Brill. Through goes Swearingen in that bright green ACI Motorsports car. That's a perfect use of traffic. As I was about to say, if you look at a track map of Road Atlanta, it looks pretty easy. Listed as 12 corners, but actually there's probably 2 or 3 fewer than that, because the back straight has 2 corners on it, and you wouldn't really think of those as corners. And the spin behind. Oh, what a shame. The 69 has gone around for TPC Racing, and Danny Hardy, Florida resident from Vero Beach, just got on the power too early coming out of turn 7. That is a classic mistake at Road Atlanta, Jeremy.
Yeah, it is. It just get on the throttle a little bit too hard coming out of turn 8 there, and around the car goes. But no harm, no foul, no contact with anything, so he's able to resume. I tell you what, it's an early start for these guys, racing at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, I'm not surprised that some of these Masters contenders, I'm not sure whether they're early birds quite as much as some of the youngsters.
Yes, I had one of the drivers, and I won't say who, telling me earlier in the weekend that he thought there was only one 6:45 in the day, and that was when he should be thinking about sitting down for dinner, not actually getting to the track and getting himself ready to go racing. So I think it has been a rude awakening, literally as well as metaphorically. So David Brill Senior, still in between the two Gold Cup runners there, and Efren Castro getting a little frustrated. You can see him moving around behind the car. Now flashes the lights on the 65 TPC Racing coloured Gold Cup car into turn 6 again.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
Bart Collins, MCR Racing in the 22. And the 18 car that's in there is the Richard H. ACI Motorsport car. That's the blue car that's ahead of the blue car that's behind, if that makes any sense at all. But they are battling in Gold Cup category for 3rd and 4th in that class. And it was 10A down at the bottom of the hill where that position was swapped over. Nice clean racing though, Jeremy. Good fun had by all, and that's why people love racing in the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. Almost always you'll find someone that you can race.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is a super battle between these two here. They were having a lot of fun, but as also there is Michael Manella, who is challenging Kenny Murillo, the youngster from California, who stepped into this top racing car number 56. It was driven previously by David Baker, a veteran of the series. Unfortunately, David was involved in a really scary crash at Road America, which was on top of another scary crash he had last season. So David has stepped out of the car, and he's invited this youngster to hop into this car. Kenny Murillo, his father Ken, was also a pretty useful racer, now runs cars and teams in the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, and Kenny has been knocking on the door trying to get some opportunities in racing. This is a really good one that he's been given here by Top Racing and David Baker, and he's doing a good job here to hold off the much more experienced in these cars, Michael Manella.
Yeah, lovely dive down the inside for the white Porsche at turn 1, but just misses the apex, goes wide, and a lovely cut back from the 56 and Kenny Murillo for Top Racing. The old over and under. I'll leave you the room down the inside, but you're not going to make it. I'll just trim a little bit of speed, pull the car back to the centre of the corner, the apex of the corner, and take the position back. We have already gone through a third of the race, and the leaders are as close together as they have been for a couple of laps, just on half a second between Riley Dickinson and Jeff Kingsley, with half an hour to go at Road Atlanta. Well, what a cracking scrap again between Riley Dickinson and Jeff Kingsley, as you were from our race earlier in the weekend. And Jeff Kingsley will not have the performance advantage that he had towards the end of the race yesterday, when Riley Dickinson had a mechanical issue with a shock absorber that dulled his pace in the Merspeed car. Dickinson from pole position got the drop from the green flag, and Jeremy Shaw, as we move to under half an hour right now. Fantastic racing right through the pack, and still the 56 of Kenny Murillo, Mike Manella for MCR Racing, the number 4, the white car, having a cracking battle.
They are, and Apex Capital Car, he got a good run there off the back straight, didn't he? Michael Minella, what a story he is. He's 58 years of age, he's from Boca Raton in Florida. He's a national sales manager at Nation Safe Drivers, so I don't think you'll see him making any too many risky moves, perhaps, to try and get that position away. But what's most remarkable is the fact he had a horrendous street accident quite a few years ago, a decade ago now, and unbelievably, he lost both of his feet, which is a horrendous injuries. But yeah, he's always had a passion for racing. He started racing in the PCA series, Porsche Club of America series, a few years ago. He's now been in this GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama for the last 2.5 years, and he's got good pace as well. He's a remarkable story, and he's pushing hard.
So settling into quite literally the middle third of this race. If you think about the 45-minute race, obviously it quite simply breaks up into 3 15-minute chunks, and that is in some respects the way the drivers will think about it too. The start to about 15 minutes, keep it clean, and then get into your rhythm in the middle part and find out what performance you've got left for the last 15 minutes and charge where you can. In the Platinum class, the Yokohama fastest lap held by the car in second position, and the driver there too, of course. The car hasn't done it on its own. For Kelly Moss Road and Race, the number 16, Jeff Kingsley, a 1:23.458, and he's put that in his challenge for the lead. Kingsley right on the limiter going into turn 1 there. Main time for the Yokohama fastest lap in the gold category. Again, it's the second place driver in the class, the 65 of Efren Castro for TPC Racing. And again, he's chasing down a leader. A little bit further ahead there, though. He's got 2.5 seconds to make up, but a 1:25.7 is a very good time indeed from Esther, who's just actually put the fastest final sector in whilst we were talking about him. So he's winding up to another quick lap. We'll keep an eye on those Yokohama fast laps through the race as the racing fuel burns off, the cars get lighter and potentially even a little bit quicker. So no clutch and gear shift lever to worry about, but these cars are particularly edgy when you get close to the edge of the performance envelope. They move around, they're quite heavy cars, a GT Grand Touring car as they are, and they require quite a decent amount of driving, Jeremy, and it's a very good proving and learning ground. Looks like Efren went off in the background there in turn 7. But also it looks like Kurt Swearingen is caught up behind the number 92 car of Joseph Lombardo, the man from Ohio. So we might get another battle in gold category behind these two battling down at turn 10A.
I agree, John. And Efren Castro, just the lap before that, the minor off-course excursion there at turn 8, he just had a new Yokohama fastest lap in the Gold Cup category, 1:25.589 for Efren Castro, still in second place, but inching closer, he hopes, at least, to Kurt Swearingen, with still 25 minutes to go in this race. Here is this battle with the primarily green car, that sort of Dagro green car of Kurt Swearingen, trying to get past Joseph Lombardo, but
too brave, and they've both gone at turn 2. Swearingen coming from a long way back. He wasn't there. I know he's going for position, and I know he's leader of the class, but he wasn't there at turn 2, and that was a lunge that was always going to be problematical. Low percentage of coming off. Even as you were talking, Jeremy, I said that it was brave. It was too brave. I think he may have punctured the left front tyre on that number 17 car. He'll do well to get off the damp grass. Yes, he has. He's pulled the tyre off the rim. He will get it going again, and I think we'll stay green. Obviously, he was feeling the pressure. He was nowhere near there. There's a big curb on the inside at turn number 2. But you have to be right alongside there. He had a run. He's barely halfway up. Halfway up the door, and that's not close enough. By the way, great avoidance from Efren Castro as Lombardo spun across the track in front of him. But that was, I'm afraid, an air of inevitability about it, Jeremy, because he wasn't in position to make that pass.
No, he wasn't. No, that was a definite error there from Kurt. Got a little bit carried away, and once again, it's the Gold Cup Day category cars getting together, one of the platinum class cars. Hey, look, but, there's not that much performance differential between these cars. They're certainly close enough to be able to race there, and let them get on with their race, no problem with that. But unfortunately, there it's Kurt that tried to make that move and ended up taking out both of them. So that's going to leave Efren Castro now with a pretty handy lead in that Gold Cup category. But meanwhile, Riley Dickinson, just his consistency at the front of the field right now is really, really impressive. Virtually all of his laps have been within a tenth of a second or a tenth and a half of a second. That's really, really good for Riley Dickinson. He's actually extended his lead just a little bit now over Jeff Kingsley. These battles further down the order.
Danny Hardy just having a little bit of a wide moment at turn 5. Wonder if he's got a problem as well, coming under pressure at the moment at turn 7. And he's off as well. Now, was he pushed there, or was that again just a little bit too much of the throttle pedal? And again, a certain sense of inevitability. Looked like he was struggling there, and the traffic going by him. He's been offline a couple of times before this, so probably got the tyres dirty. No touch. That was almost an action replay, but this time he spins to the inside, and the 69 car then drops to the back for TPC Racing. And Danny Hardy from Vero Beach, Florida, well, he'll be disappointed with that. 2 mistakes, one at turn 5, got right out of the groove into the marbles, picked up a lot of dirt and rubbish on his tyres, and I'm sure that will have had some bearing on what happened afterwards, Jeremy, because he was offline for the previous corner as well and getting cars going by him. Maybe just a loss of concentration there. Looks like he's continued.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
Jeff Kingsley, though, he's shown over the last few races how aggressive he can be. I mean, he wants to win this championship. He's been given this opportunity by the Kelly Moss Road and Race team. This is the car, the Racing for Children's car, that's won a whole bunch of championships in recent years, and he wants to maintain that string, does Jeff Kingsley. He's 22 years of age, from Ajax in Ontario, a suburb of Toronto, and he's leading the championship. He knows if he can get past Riley Dickinson one more time, like he did yesterday, he can extend that championship lead. But he's got to make sure, with the lead that he has at the moment, which is a dozen points coming into this race weekend, he doesn't throw away any unnecessary points either. Still a long way to go in this championship.
And still 13.5 minutes or just under to go in the race. The leaders, as you were, with just a maybe 1.5 Porsche 911s lengths, a little bit more now actually, going down in the braking area. But again, with traffic ahead, Now, further back down the road, the battle for the third spot on the podium, which has been Sean McAllister's all day today since the drop of the green flag, that's getting a bit spicy as well. We daren't take our eyes off the front of the field because, of course, as soon as we do, something will happen. But I will tell you that Alan Metney in the 99 Kelly Moss AM Motorsports car has closed up to within a second. And, of course, as I say that, he has a bad lap and drops back to a second and a half. But I'll keep an eye on that whilst we continue to watch this fascinating cat and mouse at the front of the field, down through the S's, with battling Porsches ahead, Jeremy. And again, Kingsley will need to be close here. Jeff will be right underneath the rear wing of Riley's cars. They run into the traffic. Just checking the back down the road. The Shell car is in third position. That's the number 11 of Sean McAllister. And he's pulled out about a second just on that last lap. The pair of cars that are battling ahead of the leaders, that's Bart Collins in the blue Porsche. And ahead of him, David Brule Sr. again, about to get lapped again. Well, Bart stays well out the way of the leaders. Still a little bit of a tow picked up by Riley Dickinson in the Mo-Speed car with that stylised M, almost like a set of claws over the front fenders of that car. That's the Mo-Speed trademark. And now David Brule Sr. in a platinum car. That car will be fast in a straight line, and they might need just a little bit of cooperation. Danger time, Jeremy, for the leader with 11.5 to go.
Yeah, very much so. But David Brule there, heads up to him. He keeps right out of the way there, too. He doesn't interfere with the lead battle. Heads up. Well done, David. Nice job there. He's still going to maintain his own position in that little battle he is having with Bart Collins right behind him there. But the leaders go through absolutely unopposed there, and that battle continues. Still less than half a second between these two leaders now, and time is ticking away. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this race, so they're still showing really good pace and consistency through this latter stages of the race.
And the amount of concentration from these two drivers behind the wheels, including lapping some of the other competitors. I'm never sure whether it's more difficult to lead or to follow. The pressure, of course, is on the leader because, you know, if you make a tiny mistake, if you miss your braking point or your turning point, or you don't quite get on the throttle, then you're going to feel that heat very quickly indeed from the chasing car. On the other side of it, Jeff Kingsley, as the hunter, he is staring at the back of that leading car and trying to work out where he gets a little bit closer, where Riley might be a little stronger. He's planning, he's scheming, and of course he's not got a perfectly clear view of the road ahead, so he's got to make sure he's seeing his brake markers and his turning points absolutely perfectly. Although it does seem to me as though Jeff has got a little more pace in his car if he could get through. He's not really had what I would call a significant or serious challenge opportunity for the lead, Jeremy, for well, we haven't seen one, in fact, since the drop of the green.
Not really, no. He's had a couple of chances where he might have had a go, but each time he elected not to. I mean, just a couple of laps ago, he thought about making a move to the inside the braking for turn 10, but elected not to do so. He figured he discretion the better part of the valor. He's still 10 minutes to go. He knows he's got a good, consistent car. He showed that yesterday by taking the victory. Although, yes, okay, there was a problem for Riley Dickinson, but it was a good, clean move by Jeff Kingsley. He was able to get that win. Again, he was able to turn consistent laps in the front, and that's what Riley Dickinson is doing now, and just edging away just a little bit. Not too far ahead of them now, by the way, is the Gold Cup leader, Efren Castro, because he was the next car ahead of him on the racetrack. They're catching him slowly but steadily as he heads into turn 12.
That's a good run again from Castro. The Gold Cup leader is inside the top 10 overall. He's in 9th position. Everyone behind Efren, from David Brule Sr. in the 48 Kelly Moss Road and Race car. He and the rest of the field are at least one lap down. Kurt Swearingen, by the way, did rejoin after a replacement Yokohama tyre and wheel after that incident at the top of the hill. And Race Control took a look at that, shared responsibility for that incident, so no further action required from race control as Kurt Swearingham spun himself out of a Gold Cup lead position. Under 8 minutes to go. Now, Kingsley, been following for a very long time. Castro cruising along in the morning sunshine here at Road Atlanta. And he's going to have his heads up as well about what's going on behind, because what he doesn't want to do is get either of these guys frustrated and start trading paint, or vinyl as it will be nowadays for most of these cars. But you know what I mean. He's in a very strong position with second Bart Collins for MCR Racing, some 13-14 seconds back down the road. Third, by the way, in gold at the moment is another ACI racing car, and that's Richard Edge, and he's another 13 seconds further back from Bart in second. So this is about controlling his own race for Efren Castro as he goes a lap down to the platinum and overall race leaders. He does not want to get involved in anything here that could cost him time. He obviously doesn't want to get involved in the race leaders battle either, Jeremy, but he's got to be thinking about his own situation, because at the moment he's going for a double race victory this weekend at Road Atlanta. Dickinson has pulled the pin in the last couple of laps. It was down to under 0.4 of a second, and now an extra second on top of that. 1.4 seconds the lead, Dickinson to Kingsley, and he's done that effortlessly, Jeremy, absolutely effortlessly. Meantime, fourth position, Alan Metney, just putting a lap there on the David Brill Senior Kelly Mott's Road and Race. He is the leading Masters category car, the number 99, the iFly sponsored machine. Brill is a further lap back, but he is running in 10th position overall, 9th in the Platinum class. Got to give some credit, though, to Riley Dickinson, coming back after disappointment yesterday. Hasn't let that affect his mindset, Jeremy, and he's done a very, very good job indeed this afternoon. Just a quick look at us of Carrazzo there, who's in 5th. And he is closing on Metney, but not quick enough. It's under 3 seconds now for that bright yellow fronted car, but he's got 2 lapped runners between him and the next position on the track, which is that all white Alan Metney car. Not sure even Sebastian, with his skill, will be able to pull that one back.
No, I think you're right, and certainly Sean McAllister's done a really good job today. Initially, in the early part of the race, he was under pressure from Alan Metney and Sebastian Carrazzo, but those three have kind of stretched themselves apart as the race has gone along. And Sean McAllister, I think, gaining confidence from that podium finish yesterday, his first podium finish yesterday, and today his first front row start. Okay, he got beaten away from the start, but still another good third place would be good for the young man from Beverly Hills in California. Sebastian Carrazzo in that car number 27. He's doing, again, a good steady job there in the 5th position overall for Kelly Moss Road and Race.
Last 3 minutes. 3 minutes for these cars. Probably a couple, possibly 3 laps. Just depends when Riley Dickinson crosses the line. Alan Metney down through turn 10A and B. Car looks very well settled indeed, but it just lost a couple of tenths of performance in this last 10 minutes or so. And having been under a second behind Sean McAllister, he's dropped to 3 seconds away, but he's got nearly 4 seconds back to Carrazzo. And then there's a long gap back to Charlie. Look, nice to see Charlie. Look, we haven't seen much of him. Yesterday, he was on for a top 6 position, and then in the last few minutes of the race, went a little wide at turn number 5, looped the car into the wall, but Charlie looked for Wright Motorsports in the 45, sitting in 6th position at the moment, and looks like he'll bring that car home. But this has been a super Sunday so far for the poleman, Riley Dickinson. 2 pole positions. Issue that slowed his progress yesterday. No such problems today, and he's paced himself nicely. Or has he? Jeff Kingsley gets a bit of a wiggle on. He's been matching Dickinson pretty closely on his lap times, and all of a sudden has just taken a couple of tenths out. It's back down to just on a second. No white flag this time around, so there are 2 more laps. 5 miles, Jeremy. Has Kingsley got the performance that he needs? I can't believe that Dickinson is going to lose it twice in 2 days. Surely Riley has got what it takes now to bring this car home and close out the victory.
I think he's just managing his pace at this stage in the race. They're about 6 or 7 seconds shy of taking the white flag there. This is a timed race, 45 minutes. They're about... The lap times here are around about 1 minute 24s, and there was about 1 minute 30 to go as he crossed the line. So yes, it will be 2 more laps. I think he last lap around for Riley Dickinson was one of his slowest laps of the race when he's been on his own without having to pass any lapped cars. 124.3, but I think he can see the margin. He's got enough experience now. It's just his 2nd year of car racing, the 18-year-old from New Braunfels in Texas, to suburb of San Antonio. But I think he's got enough experience now just to know to manage that pace, not push too hard, don't risk doing anything to upset the car, and just bring that car home.
Well, the body language from the More Speed team suggests to me they thought it was going to be the white flag last time around, but they were a good 6 seconds shy of getting it. They'll get it this time. Waved with some gusto by Tony on the starter stand, and there are now just 2.54 miles to go, and Riley Dickinson just has to keep his concentration for just over a minute or so. Efren Castro goes across the line, having just been lapped by the 3rd place overall Sean McAllister for JTX Racing, and that gap still just on a second, 1.1 second. You have to give full marks to both of these drivers. Jeff Kingsley has kept Riley Dickinson honest from the very drop of the green flag when he slipped into 2nd position up the inside into turn 1. Dickinson, though, very smooth out of turn 7. That was a danger point. If you go a little wide there, it kills your speed all the way down the long back straight. They've got Michael Manella ahead of them, but I don't think he is going to play any part in this. 10A and 10B, just get your braking right, Riley. Oh, little bit of over rotation, the back end of the car just moving around a little bit under the Fox Factory Bridge and down towards the final and 12th corner. Checkered flag is out, checkered flag is in the air, and the checkered flag is taken by Riley Dickinson for More Speed. 3/4 of a second at the end from Jeff Kingsley for Kelly Moss Road and Race. Efren Castro will take the Gold Cup. Sean McAllister, by the way, for JDX has gone through in 3rd for Platinum. Here comes Castro. That was a little easier than he would have thought after Kurt Swearingen rather took himself out of it. Well, very good racing at the front. Dickinson controlled it, Kingsley kept him honest. Sean McAllister once again had a fairly lonely race in 3rd position.
Welcome back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta from Brazelton, Georgia, where race 2 of the weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA presented by Yokohama has concluded. Now we'll go to Victory Lane and hear from our winner.
Yeah, I mean, we both had a great battle. It was a hard fight for sure. He definitely kept me honest. You know, I was just kind of waiting, hoping he would fall off because I was pushing as hard as I could. You know, 12/10 the entire time. So, yeah, I mean, I can't give it up to More Speed enough. And, you know, they delivered a great car once again. You know, last night we figured out that we had a left rear shock failure. That's why we fell off in race 1 yesterday. So coming out today, we knew we had the speed, just had to stay in front and got it done.
By winning this weekend the way we did, we just hit the reset button. We back in the championship, and I can't be more thankful than my guys, my teammates, because they the one who got me the car to be at this position right now. I feel really bad for my teammate, for my last year teammate, Kurt, who had the incident, because we was battling, and I felt that we was gonna battle all the way through the race, and it's unfortunately that happened to him, but that's racing, and we move on to Mid-Ohio, and I'm gonna feel strong there as well.
Unofficial results then at the end of round 6 of the 2020 IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. 53, Riley Dickinson, More Speed, takes it under a second at the end from Kingsley. Good weekend for him though, with the first and the second as well. McAllister in third for JDX. And in the Gold Cup, again unofficially, Efren Castro for TPC ahead of Bart Collins, and then Richard Edge with Kurt Swearingen a couple of laps or more down after that incident that took him out of the lead of the championship. And Jeremy Shaw has the Porsche point standings.
Yeah, and that weekend sweep for Efren Castro moves him right back into contention now. 195 points he has unofficially after the 6th round of the championship. Kurt Swearingen just 2 ahead on 197. In the platinum category, great performance today by Riley Dickinson. Managed that race absolutely perfectly. So he has narrowed the gap to Jeff Kingsley, but Jeff Kingsley has 201 points to the 192 of Riley Dickinson.
Next up on NBCSN for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge will be rounds 7, 8, and 9, a triple header at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course during the Acura Sports Car Challenge at Mid-Ohio weekend. NBC Sports is your exclusive home for IMSA sports car racing. The Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama gave us some spectacular action today. Congratulations to Riley Dickinson and the More Speed team, as well as TPC Racing in the gold class as Efren Castro completed the sweep. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.